everyone, my name is David, and yes, we are back on another review of Alex's Board Game Stand, where we review kids' board games. And we are doing another Haba game, a publisher that we both personally like. And I want to put the caveat, there is a bit of bias when we go into Haba games, but only because it warrants it. That most of the time the production is like a top shelf, and the games are simplified for kids, but entertaining enough for adults. And this one here is a leap into a new realm for Haba. They are doing a branch of family games, and as you can see if you're familiar with Haba, this is not a yellow box. The yellow emblem's still there, but they have a full-fledged graphic art design over the entire box, and I kind of like it, though I do miss my yellow boxes sometimes. But this is the game of Rocks. Now, Rocks is an observation game with speed. So speed observation. Think that when you think Rocks. And there's a theme that there are druids, which are why we have these wands here. And we're in a contest to gain these elements and put them back into the natural flow, you know, so the world continues as it is. So we're doing a fun contest, but we're also helping planet Earth. Now, currently in the line of family game that Haba is doing here, they have 3 games. Now, we've played 2. We've played the game of Spookies, where it's press your luck in a haunted house. But there's a 3rd game right now called Adventureland. It's an adventurer kind of fantasy type that's on a grid, and it's worker placement, which I'm personally excited about and can't wait to review. But today we are talking about Rocks. And all these games, by the way, Haba signed on some pretty renowned and popular designers to really try to jump into this realm of family games seamlessly. And if anyone can do it, Haba can. So without further ado, let me show you how this observation game of elements works and why it has this red decoder thing on the very back of the cards. So without further ado, let's show them what comes in the box and then how to play. Alright, so these are the components that come in the box of Rocks. Wands not included, it is add those for decor. Of course, it's just going to be a lot of cards with this thick plastic decoder red emblem thing here, and this is what you're going to be decoding the middle of the back side of the cards. I don't know if you can see that or not. And then you have the whole bunch of cards with the emblem, the elements in the middle and around the base of the cards. You get a whole bunch of those, and then you get the point scoring cards. These have art in the back, and if Haba is going to do something that's simple on components, they're always going to deliver in some aspect, and I think they delivered on the art here, because they didn't need to have the elements in the background of the point cards, but they did. I will say the cards are standard, but a good standard. So those are all the components. Now let's show you how to play. So this is the game of Rocks set up for any amount of players. We're going to pretend that we have 3 players, but of course it's just me and Alex. You will put all the element cards in the middle and just shuffle them up like this, and then take the decoder and put it off the side, but she's going to hold on to it. And then you will take the amount of scoring cards minus the amount of the amount of players, say that we're playing a 3-player game, and you will put out 2. But in a 2-player game, we're only going to be fighting over 1 scorecard. Now, these range from different scores all the way from 1 to the big Bambowski, the number 10, which I know is in there. There he is. So you could be fighting over 1 for on the first round, but on the last round, you could be fighting over the number 10, and that could be the deciding factor. So in the game of Rocks, like I said, you have to observe, and you got to do it in a speedy fashion, but you only can use one hand. So to start off the game, you will have one person say, "What word, kiddo?"
Rocks.
And when that person says it, all the players simultaneously start to grab their first card and put it in front of them. There is no timer, but this is all simultaneous. Now, you want to get a amount of 6 elements in front of you in a correct order in order to score this one here and gain this amount of points for this round. Now, how do you do that in the correct manner? Well, let me show you. The first one I put down is a red element, but that doesn't matter what the middle one is right now. What I'm looking at are the ones on the borders, and I want to count the element that happens to be on there the most. Now, in this case, I think it's blue because it's on there 5 and yellow's on there 4. I would then take any blue here, again with just my one hand, and put it next to it. Now these are in the correct order from what I think. Now I will do the same process with the next card. This one here I think is gray, so I will put that one right there. And remember, we're doing this all up to the amount of 6. And then I would say right here, this one is yellow, but let's just put a few right there. And the first person to the amount of 6 emblems in front of them screams what word?
Rock.
And then play stops immediately. So that person that shouted rocks will start to reveal their line, seeing it is if it is in the correct order, in order to gain this point from the score pile. And they will take that decoder, flipping over the back, which I'm going to show you in a second how mine is, and see if they've scored enough to get this point here. Now in a 2-player game, there's only going to be 1 offered, and it's going to go to the highest player, but there was a 2 here, there would be a second and a first place, but you would at least have to score 2 of these cards to get that second place. But I'm going to go over it in a second once she sees if she was right all along. Were you? Kind of. There are some missed ones. Well, let me show the fans how this works. Now, you will take this one here and flip over the first card and see if the emblem in the middle, I don't know if you can see it very well, it matches the one next to it. And in this case, it does, so I score 1 to my benefit of the 4 there. I will continue to do this and see if it matches. That one does match. So I got 2. Now, I'm eligible to get that point. She's gotten 2 points over there, so I have to beat 2 points. This one does match the yellow, so I have beat her at this point, and I don't need to continue, but this one doesn't match, so I would still keep this 4th point, but anything after, I throw back in the middle, and this is how much I have going towards trying to gather the first place to get this score right here. So Alex had 3, she said, and I have 4, so I do get this point. Now, if there was a 3-player or more player game, there would be more cards, and then the second would be awarded. But we're not going to go over that. You can learn that on your own when you play a larger player game. But you will continue to do this process, taking all the cards that you use and mix them back in the middle for 5 different rounds. After you've done that, you will count up your points. And like I said, you could just get a lot of low ball numbers in the beginning, and it's just the last big 10 that's going to make or break the whole game, even if it's over the 5 rounds. So that is how you play rocks. Very simple, very fast. Now let's give this game a grade and tell you what we think. Alright, so that was rocks, and as we always do on Alex's Board Game Stand, we're going to be giving this game a check minus for a poo-poo stinker of a game, right? And a check for an okay to good game, and a check plus for what? Those are reserved for just great games that need to be in your collection because it's going to fill something that you might not have or might like and already have. So, with that being said, what are you going to give the game of rocks, kiddo? Check plus. And why are you going to give the game of rocks a check plus? What do you like about this game?
I like the rocks.
You like the elements, and do you like the way that it plays? Do you think it's too fast for you?
No, I like the name too.
You like the names? Yeah, it used an X because you love the letter X, right? Because it's in your name.
It's just I love rocks like just keep
Yeah, and yeah, it's a really neato game, and I'm gonna give this game a check plus 2, and that pretty much shares with you that my fears of this being a too fast game for younger players is pretty much relinquished, because it is a game that says it plays from 7 to 99, and I think 7 is a good age. 6 would be pushing it, but she is 7, and I was kind of worried. She kept up with me, and she beat me a few times, and these cards are harder to observe and scan than you might think. I had trouble myself, and she was nailing it every time, so it doesn't really take in a certain age, it just takes a certain skill set. If you can scan these cards really fast and you know you are correct, but sometimes they put 5 and 6 of 2 different elements on there and try to trick you, you are going to win the game if you get those correct. And I really like that. I'm not really sure if these scores are balanced enough. That big 10 and or the 9 when it shows up, you could be leading the whole game from 1 to round 4, and then when round 5 comes up, there's a big 10, and it's going to make all the difference. And I've seen that happen way more times than it happens. So there's that little quibble with it, but beyond that, I love the speed. People see you playing this game, and you're just grabbing cards from the middle real fast. You're like, what are you doing? The cards are really colorful, right? Do you like the art on the cards? I think they knocked it out of the park there. I don't know if this was really necessary, having the emblems on the back and decode it like that. I don't know, but it's there, and it's a cool little aspect. So there's not much more I can say about Rocks. How about you, kid? Do you have anything else you want to add? I will say that we have played another one of the Family Branch games, and this isn't my favorite of the two that I've played, but this is a quality game, especially as a filler. So I'm going to recommend this for families. I think Haba did a good job leaping into this genre or branch of games, and I really wasn't too worried if they were going to make their mark or miss it. I'm pretty sure they were going to do a solid job because they do a good job with the simple rules on their kids' games. They just now needed to kind of amp that up, and they tweaked it just enough for it to be relevant for kids and adults and everyone. So I recommend this game for families, and you recommend it for? Everybody. So thank you so much for joining us in today's review of Rocks. We really do appreciate it. Please like and subscribe at the end of the video here. And until the next time that we see you, have a great rest of your day and a great time with what? All that you play. You heard it here on Alex's Board Game Stand and on Gamevine. I've been David.
I've been
And we're out. Bye.